Hello students, I hope you all did your exam well. Okay, now let's move on to today's class. Today we are going to learn the continuation of the last class from the lesson the structure of the atom. Before we move into the lesson, let's do a small recap. In the 6th century BC, Acharya Kanath hypothesized Paramanu. Here, Param means final and Anu means particle, which together means a final particle. In the 5th century BC, the Greek philosophers named Democritus and Lysippus thought about the particle, which is indivisible, and named it as atomos. Here, atomos means indivisible in Greek. Then, Dalton proposed an atomic theory, which has six postulates. I hope you all remember all of them. Then, we saw that there are subatomic particles present inside an atom. They are proton, neutron, and electron. First, electrons are discovered by J.J. Thomson by cathode ray experiment. Then, the proton was discovered by Goldstein by the same experiment. He repeated the cathode ray experiment to discover proton. Later, neutron was discovered by James Chadwick in a nuclear reaction. Nuclear reaction is completely different from that of the chemical reaction. You will learn nuclear reaction in your higher classes. Okay, now we are moving on to the today's class. Since after the discovery of electron, the scientists were curious to know how they are arranged inside an atom. So, J.J. Thomson put forth an atomic model which looked like this, where the whole red mass is positively charged and the negatively charged electrons are embedded on it, which looks similar to that of the plum pudding. In a plum pudding, as you see, there are dry fruits embedded on it, right? Likewise, the electrons are embedded on a positively charged mass. So, it is called as plum pudding model. It can also be explained with an offcut watermelon, where the seeds of the watermelon are embedded on a red flesh. Here, the seeds are like electrons and the red flesh is a positively charged mass. But later, it is proved to be wrong. Then an English physicist named Ernest Rutherford did an experiment which is known as alpha scattering experiment. Let's see this experiment. He used a thin gold foil and a alpha particle. Here he chose the alpha particle because here the alpha particle is helium ion with double positive charge in it. He chose alpha particle because it has higher energy and it is heavier, so it is easy for it to pass through the gold foil because of its higher energy. Then he chose a thin gold foil because the gold foil that he used has 1000 atoms of gold, which is very less compared to the atoms present in a small piece of paper. Less the number of atom, more precise will be the result. Now let's see the experiment. He took the alpha particle in a lead container. Lead is very heavy metal. Alpha particles cannot pass through it. That is why it is stored in a lead container. Then he made a small slit on the lead container. Here, slit means a small opening, which allows the alpha particle to move out of the container. Then he used a gold foil, then a fluorescent screen. During the experiment, he observed the following. A lot of alpha particles were passed through the gold foil in a straight line. Some of the alpha particles were slightly deviated from its path. Then, very few alpha particles are deflected back. I repeat the observations once again. A lot of alpha particles were passed through the gold foil in a straight line. Some of the alpha particles were slightly deviated from its path. Then, very few alpha particles are deflected back. These are the observations. Now let's see the conclusion he made from this experiment. Lot of alpha particles are passed through the foil easily, which means there is a lot of empty space. He said that atom is mostly empty. Then he observed that some alpha particles are deviated slightly from their path, right? Which means they were repelled to a small extent by a positive charge. How can we say it as a positive charge? Because the alpha particles are also positive, right? We saw that alpha particles are helium ion with double positive charge on it, right? We know that like charges repel. So we can say that there is a positive charge at the center. Lastly, he observed that few of the alpha particles are totally deflected back. Why? They might be traveled in a straight line towards the positive center. So they are strongly deflected back. This positive center is named as nucleus. Rutherford finally said that electrons present in an atom revolve around the nucleus at a larger distance from it. Let's see the conclusions once again. The atom is mostly empty. Some of these particles deviated slightly from their path. This showed that they were repelled to a small extent by a positive charge. Very few of the particles, the ones at the center, almost retraced their path. This means they are repelled by a small positively charged body at the center of the atom. This positively charged body is called as nucleus. Since the electrons has negligible mass, the mass of the atom is concentrated in the nucleus. Finally, Rutherford also theorized that electrons revolve around the nucleus at a larger distance from it. Then we are moving on to the arrangement of the subatomic particles inside an atom. As of now, we saw that mass of atom is concentrated on the nucleus. The mass of the proton and neutron is 1 U. Here, U means unified mass, which is the unit of atomic mass. The mass of the electron is negligible. So, the proton and neutrons must present inside the nucleus, which results in the mass of the nucleus. Later, in 1913, Niels Bohr presented an atomic model, which replicated the solar system, where the sun is located at the center and the planets are moving around the sun. Here, the nucleus, which has protons and neutron in it, are present at the center, and the electrons, like the planet, revolve around the nucleus on their own orbit. I repeat this once again. In 1913, Niels Bohr presented an atomic model which replicated the solar system. Here, the nucleus, which has protons and neutrons in it, is present at the center, and the electrons, like the planets, revolve around the nucleus on their own orbits. Okay, students, I hope you all understood the concepts covered today. Now we are moving on to the assignment section. Who discovered the nucleus? What is the overall charge of the nucleus? What is an alpha particle? In an atom, where the nucleus is located? The final question is, in an atom, where the electrons are located? The answers for these questions are given in this video. Kindly note the answers down in your chemistry notebook. Thank you, students.